Joining me now is the Intergovernmental Affairs Minister, Dominic LeBlanc. And I should say Happy New Year to you, sir, and I hope you and the family are doing well. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Evan. Happy New Year.
Let me just start with, I've heard that the news that I'll talk to Tim Houston, the Nova Scotia Premier, in just a minute, who told me just a couple minutes ago that Nova Scotia has requested military help to help roll out their booster shots. Can you give me any details on that?
So you noted in your introduction that we had approved, in the case of Quebec, some 200 military personnel to support in sort of setting up and the logistics around these booster clinics. Obviously, we have ongoing conversations. I speak to Premier Houston regularly. He's in contact as well with my cabinet colleagues. If the provinces ask for assistance, we're obviously going to do everything we have to do to be there to support them. At the end of the day, however, the Government of Canada has limited healthcare resources in terms of nurses and doctors and paramedics who are qualified to administer the vaccine boosters. Those are properly in the hands of provincial authorities. We're very confident, Evan, from the conversations we have, that provinces and territories are prepared and are doing what they need to do to ramp up as quickly as possible these booster campaigns. But obviously, if a province asks for specific help, the Government of Canada will be there to do whatever we can in whatever way possible to support them. And that obviously includes the potential request from Nova Scotia, but other jurisdictions are also looking at where we might be able to help.
I'm just trying to ask a common sense question. We're closing school. Provinces are closing schools to in-class learning, and businesses are being shuttered. The federal government's boosting support for businesses that are shuttered here. And we've got enough booster shots. We just have a capacity limit, and it seems every day matters. Why can the Prime Minister call another one of these calls with the First Ministers, with all the premiers, and say, look, we're ready to help in any way to mass mobilize, get 24/7 clinics to get boosters in arms. Like it's slow, Minister. You've seen it. People are waiting, booking, they can't get it, and every day seems to matter. So is there any way to build capacity to help provinces? I know they've got to request it. I get all that. I don't want to get stuck in jurisdictional issues. To get booster shots in arms faster.
But Evan, it's not only about getting stuck in a jurisdictional question. The provinces and territories are the ones that have access to the healthcare professionals that can safely administer booster shots. The Government of Canada doesn't have thousands of nurses and doctors at our disposal the way provinces and territories do. That's simply the way the delivery of healthcare services in Canada have been structured for hundreds of years. So our role as a national government is, as the Prime Minister and Mr. Duclos said today, to ensure that we have an adequate supply of booster shots of vaccines. The good news is we already do. So every Canadian that is able and wants to get that booster shot, critical to fighting Omicron and to dealing with the pressure on healthcare systems across the country, the Government of Canada has successfully procured and is in possession of enough vaccine booster shots for every eligible Canadian. And we'll work, the Prime Minister and I and other ministers, Mr. Duclos talks to his provincial and territorial counterparts all the time. In any way the Government of Canada can support provincial authorities, of course we will. But Evan, we are very confident. The provinces have plans to significantly ramp up. I spoke to the Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador today, very proud of what his province has been able to do to quickly drive up the number of booster shots administered in his jurisdiction. Every other province, we think, will also do a good job, and the Government of Canada will be there to support them in any way we can.
Okay, so just, and I'll get to testing in a minute, but is the federal government frustrated that, you got the boosters here, but millions of kids, millions of families are frustrated because their kids are not in school? And the solution is sitting in refrigerators and warehouses, freezers, and it's a capacity issue. And the Prime Minister says, things are going to get better in months, but things could get better in weeks if we could get those bloody things out of freezers into arms. Is there any sense of frustration on the federal government's part that the provincial rollouts are so slow? I understand there's capacity issues, but couldn't we have foreseen the capacity issues? And and get some 24/7 booster shots so we can end this way quicker.
So, Evan, I said it a minute ago. We're confident that provinces, in the peculiarity of their own jurisdictions, have the best possible plans to, as quickly as possible, roll out those booster shots. One of the difficult circumstances, of course, of Omicron is the hundreds and hundreds of healthcare workers. In my small province of New Brunswick, there are a number of hundreds of healthcare workers who are properly isolating or not able to go to work. So that represents a capacity challenge for every province and territory. They're working their way through that. The Government of Canada is obviously doing whatever we can, wherever we can, to support them. But we're confident, Evan, that we will have, as we did in the first vaccination campaign that started a year ago, we're very confident that Canadians want to do the right thing and get those boosters. We're one of the most vaccinated populations in the world. That's something that we should be very proud of as a country. It says something good about Canadians, but it also says something reassuring about provincial health authorities who have been able to successfully deploy these vaccines in the past, and we're confident they'll do so.
I guess so, but yeah, I guess so. Meantime, where people are getting, businesses are closed again and people can't get their kids to school, so there's a lot of frustration. I know that this is depending on the province, but provinces are experiencing a testing crisis and Canadians are struggling to get their hands on these rapid antigen tests. I know today there was an announcement there's 140 million of them coming in January. When exactly are these going to arrive?
So millions are arriving, obviously, every week, every day. We delivered 35 million rapid tests to provinces in the month of December alone. The Prime Minister and Mr. Duclos announced a further 140 million rapid tests arriving just in the month of January, in this month. So those are being shipped by the millions to provinces and territories every day this month. We'll continue to procure, in a very competitive global circumstance, every possible rapid test kit that we can, so that, again, provinces and territories and businesses and others have access to these tests in a way that forms part of the protections necessary in the public health context. Provinces and territories are asking us to ship them as many rapid tests as we can, and that's exactly what we're doing.